see it's pretty balanced, good enough for what we're doing. It's not rocket science, but it kind of is Star Wars. Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike, and today I am working on something completely different from what I normally do. And if you're new to the channel, what I normally do is take car parts and flip them into something pretty cool, whether it be like a piece of art, furniture, whatever, but I try to use car parts and give it a new twist, trash to treasure, if you will, type of vibe. Sometimes I'll throw some beer breweriana type stuff. I kind of dig that too. But today's gonna be completely different. My son's birthday's coming up. He's a big Star Wars nut, and I had this idea on how to create something really cool for him. So if you're a Star Wars guy, you're gonna wanna stay till the end of the video to see how this thing turns out. All right, let's get to it. We are working with, this is the main piece of the project today. It's an industrial muffin tin for commercial baking, I presume. Kind of see it, it's got this cool non-stick, heavy duty finish. There is 24 individual cavities, and when I purchased it, I kind of knew I was going to be using it for some type of collection. Wasn't quite sure what. We're doing it today. We are going to display this really cool Star Wars collection. Let me give a little backstory on the Star Wars collection. What I have, let me just show you. They're Star Wars, I guess you call them POGs. They're back from, the dates on these are 1997. So backstory is these came in bags of Doritos while I was working at Albertsons, and I had a bag of Doritos on my little 15-minute break. Bag of Doritos, I really remember this. It was a bag of Doritos, a Little Debbie honey bun, and a soda for under $2. I would go eat my snack back then, and each bag had these cool little prism POGs in them. So just started saving them, and then I realized, I'm sitting up there, I realized if you were able to put the bag up, you were able to see the number. This one's number 10 of 20. So you were able to see which one was in there. Once I figured that out, then I was easily be able to get all 20 of these POGs. So I've had all 20 of these in my sock drawer for literally 20 years. And the other day, we were at Disneyland, and it kind of came to me, you know, I need to get these out. My son's a big Star Wars fan, so I knew I had these, and this is what we're gonna be putting in that muffin tin. I gotta make it really cool. I gotta make it look like a Star Wars piece. So if you've ever been to the Star Wars land, they have all the, shoot, it looks like you're on another planet based off of the movies, what they've done with all the, shoot, what do you even call it? I call it patina, but just everything just looks old, and like, you wanna say old, but it's the future. You know what I'm talking about. So that's what we're gonna do with this tray. We're gonna highlight each one of these little POGs, make it real special. Okay, so did all the brainstorming. Typically when I do a project like this, it's a lot of brainstorming. Sometimes it's weeks of brainstorming, a little bit at a time, but yesterday, I got a deadline. So it's nothing like a deadline to get going. So my son's birthday's coming up, and I gotta hurry up and get this thing done. So I did a ton of brainstorming yesterday to figure out how this is all gonna come together. So let me just go over with you what the project's about, and then we'll get right into the actual construction of the project. So you saw the little POGs, there's actually 20 of them. So the idea originally was to, let the motorcycle go by. All right, so the idea was to, just originally was to highlight each one of these POGs in each one of these cavities, and that was it. But we have to like elevate it and make it really cool. And then the first thing I realized, if I put these in stationary, you gotta, what's cool about these is you gotta like twist them to see both. So if you put them in here, you're not gonna get the full effect of the prism. So I had to come up with a solution for that. And I was thinking maybe, you know, this would pivot a little bit on the wall. And I thought, that's not cool. So here's what I came up with, and then just check this out. So, and this kind of brings in the car related theme. I basically put it in each one in their own little tube, and they're on a pivot point. It's like a little throttle body, see? Like a throttle body of a carburetor or a fuel injection type of thing. So that will be mounted in those little things, and then if you just push the bottom, it goes from one prism, push the top, goes to the other. So each one of these cavities is going to have its own little let's call it a throttle body or injection port. So we'll put all 20 of them in here. Now the other problem is I had 24 holes. So while I was at Disneyland and I knew when I was going to do this project, I ended up buying these stones. These have some type of Jedi. They were called Jedi stones, I think. So we're going to go ahead and put 4 of these to fill up the other 4 cavities in the collection piece. And this piece right here, this old coin, I don't even know where I don't even know where this came from, but like I said, I've had this collection for a long time, and I've just been collecting pieces, and today's the day we're gonna put it all together. So this is all the elements. I'm probably gonna put a frame around it. We'll see, that'll be last. If it looks good without the frame, I might not. I also thought maybe when you hang it on the wall, if you put like lights behind it and have it glow out, that would look pretty space age too. So it's either gonna have a frame or I'm gonna put some back glow behind the lights on there. So without further ado, let's get going on this. All right, so now they're all cut. So the next thing I'm gonna do is run the little, I guess, pivot point for the POG. I gotta drill the hole to put the pivot point in there. And one thing I learned yesterday when I was making this one, that's gotta be dead center or it's not gonna spin. You know, it's gotta be able to pivot all the way around. If that thing's just a little bit too high or too low, it's not going to be able to spin on there. So what I figured out for this instance, instead of building a jig, I don't know if you can see it. See, there's a little hole right here, and that's kind of like keeps me centered. I just got to watch the spacing front and back, but that's going to make sure it drills right down the middle of the pipe. So time lapse some of these, and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so we got they're all cut. They all got the holes kind of centered in there. So now I got to put the pivot point or the pin, which is basically, this is I think a 2.5 inch nail. It's actually too long. I should have got a little bit narrow or shorter ones. So we'll run that through there. And that's our center point. You can see it's pretty balanced, good enough for what we're doing. It's not rocket science, but it kind of is Star Wars. Anyway, yeah, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and guess I'm just gonna grind these off so they don't stick out too far on this particular side, and then we'll go on to the next step. Our prep work done. Now we're into assembly mode. So let me show you what I got laid out and then talk you through the next phase of the project. All right, so what you see here, I went ahead and cleaned this. This is the muffin tin. We got all of our throttle body, exhaust ports, whatever we're gonna call these things, cut and drilled. Got my pins already cut, smoothed out the bottoms a little bit. Got the POGs themselves. This little embellishment here is gonna cover up the writing that was on there. This is kind of cool. I discovered these. These are like a valve guide, so kind of helps me with my whole automotive theme, having automotive parts. So we'll have 4 of those that will elevate these stones in there. And then I got random paints. So next step is to start the assembly and get this thing going. All right, we're gonna start painting. I'm gonna go with black first. I want to give it, you know, some depth. So I'm gonna start with black, and I went ahead and put the nails in because I didn't want the edge of the nail to show. But yeah, I'm gonna start with black first. I'm not too worried about getting the inside. I mean, these are already black. I just kind of want to make sure that they're uniform. There's no markings from the original pipe. Really just a quick light coat to cover up any flaws. Take the sheen off of it. This is a flat black. The pipe had a little bit of sheen on it. All right, so now I'm disappointed. I'm not liking the way this looks. The black ring, it just looks lost. It doesn't pop. You know, I'll stick the POG in there. You kind of see it just doesn't pop. So maybe if I painted a different color, the color of the muffin tin, give it some contrasting color, it'll look better. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and I'll show you what I come up with. What I ended up going with was I went ahead and painted them all that gray color, and then I flipped them upside down and then missed the black on. So you can kind of see they fade from black to gray. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna kind of frame the little POGs, and then also it's going to tie in the color of the stones so it'll all be cohesive. It looks really good down here. Let me start assembling this thing. I can't wait to get it done. All right, the assembly process is actually pretty easy. It's just, I'm just using a hot glue gun. It seems to hold it really, really well. I just got to make sure that the pivot points aligned with the way the prism, like horizontal and horizontal. And that's it. Yeah, so then I'll just move on to the next one. Once again, a little bit more glue. Here you kind of see this Starfighter Luke Skywalker POG is, you can see how it pivots right there. So line it up, maybe put a little extra glue on the back. There's another one. Get it just right. There's another one. Yeah, I'll pick this up. You don't need to watch all of these. Let me just go ahead and go into time lapse, and we'll get going from there. All right, the best part, final assembly. So let me check this out. I'm gonna add some embellishments. So kind of painted this thing. I think I'm gonna end up sticking that behind there. And got this, going back to the car part thing, I got a valve cover off of an old Volkswagen. I think it's gonna look really cool to add like a light that shines down on it. So those are gonna come on. You'll see that on the final reveal. But right now, I'm just gonna start plugging in all the pieces. Next time you see it, it'll be completely done. Let's go. All right, that's a wrap. I'm all done. It turned out really cool. It's not even dark outside, so it all came together nicely. I was able to incorporate a couple auto parts into the project. It's got the valve retainer rings, the guides for the valves behind the little stones, and I ended up using that Volkswagen valve cover for the shroud over the light. I'm super stoked how it came out. I think my boy's gonna love it for his birthday. Let me show you real quick. Right there. Got the little light here. You just tap it on. Light goes on. And then each one of these will change based on how you angle it. I don't know if you're seeing that on the screen. Let's see here. And then I don't know who that guy is, but yeah, everything looks really cool. Let me show you the highlight reel. If you like this project, if you like any of my projects, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. Have a good one.